Yo, what's going on, Clutch Crew Sports fans? This is Eric, your ranting co-host here. I'm coming back at you with another NFL season preview video. And in today's episode, we will be talking about the New Orleans Saints. I'm very excited to bring this one to you guys. I know I've got a good amount of fans on Twitter who I think will be really excited for this one, as well as one of our top fans, Seth. I know he's been waiting for it. Seth, you've been patient, so I appreciate that. So I've got the Saints for you here, and definitely going to give you my thoughts. As always, I'll go over the key offseason moves that happened, and I'll take a look at the key storylines for the Saints, and then I'll break down their schedule and give my predictions on what I think their win total could look like. So with that being said, let's get started. And the New Orleans Saints were definitely one of the busier teams in the offseason this year. They made a lot of moves. And I definitely think the Saints got better. I mean, looking at their losses, they lost Taron Armstead, the veteran tackle, to the Dolphins, who I broke down in the Dolphins preview video. And they also lost safety Marcus Williams, who went to the Baltimore Ravens. And those losses are, I would say, somewhat significant, but I think they did a good job replacing them. In the first round of the draft, they drafted Trevor Penning, the offensive tackle out of Northern Iowa. And obviously, the difference between him and Armstead, Armstead has that veteran experience, and, Trevor's a rookie. But I think over the long term, I think Trevor will develop into a solid offensive tackle for them. And I think he's a great piece going forward. So while it sucks to lose a veteran like that, I think Trevor Penning's going to be a good replacement in the long term. And then the Saints also brought in not one but two safeties, and bringing in Marcus May from the Jets and Tyrann Mathieu from the Chiefs. And these guys, are veterans, and Tyrann Mathieu has Super Bowl experience. I think both of these guys are going to be very good pieces for the Saints. I'm not sure how much Tyrann Mathieu still has in the tank. I was kind of surprised it took so long for him to get signed in the offseason. And he visited with multiple teams and looked like he might go to a couple different teams. Then he ultimately goes to the Saints, and with him playing college at LSU, I think it's a good fit. I think he's going to be very excited to be there. And I think these two guys in general are going to bring a lot of experience and talent to the Saints, and they already have a pretty good defense. So with these guys coming in, they got even better. And then also on the offensive side of the ball, they brought in Jarvis Landry, who got released from the Browns after they brought in Amari Cooper, another LSU player that they brought in, and as well as drafting Chris Olave in the draft in the first round. So the Saints did a great job bringing in pieces on both sides of the ball. And, with them also getting Michael Thomas back from injury, that's really going to help their offense. Between Michael Thomas, Landry, and Olave, they have the weapons now that they didn't have last year. And it's just a good thing going forward. So, I mean, overall, it's pretty... I don't think you can really look at this and think that the Saints got worse. I mean, they definitely got better. I don't think there's any arguing that. And so now I'm going to move on to their key storylines. Now, while the Saints definitely got better, there are some potential things. The biggest being Alvin Kamara. So he's obviously been their, workhorse, bell cow running back for the last few seasons. Now, this article here, the title there said reported to miss at least 6 games. I don't know if that's true yet. We don't know. He hasn't officially been suspended yet, but it's looking like he will get suspended. Now, if he somehow doesn't get suspended, then that's great for the Saints, but it's looking like he will get suspended. I've heard a lot of different rumors on it. I've heard 6 games. I've heard 8 games. I've heard 4 games. So regardless of what happens, assuming he does miss games, the Saints are definitely going to miss him. I mean, there's no denying that. I just talked about all the improvement they had in the wide receiver room but then losing Alvin Kamara hurts. They do still have Mark Ingram, who is a veteran with experience with the team, who they had left the team, but then he came back last year. The Texans traded him to them, and I think he can do an okay job filling in. But I mean, he's no Alvin Kamara though. So how will the Saints do in the games without Kamara? That's a big key. And then also, I talked about Michael Thomas. They're getting him back from injury, but he hasn't played in a really long time. And so I worry with him, is he going to be the same player that he was pre-injury? I think a lot of people, might be overhyping him and thinking that he's, going to come back and still be a superstar. I don't know. I wouldn't have my expectations that high. And I guess just another concern I have with the wide receiver room, like, yes, they definitely got better, but, Jarvis Landry was, kind of known, him and Odell, when they were in Cleveland together, they were kind of known for complaining about not getting enough targets. This has been an issue with Michael Thomas in the past. So is this going to continue to be a problem? They've got a lot of mouths to feed there in New Orleans, and is everybody going to be satisfied? That's another thing that kind of worries me. And then also just with Jameis Winston, he last year was the first year where he really was solid as a quarterback. I mean, in Tampa, he obviously had his moments with all his downfield passing and gunslinging and all that, but while he had a lot of great throws and a lot of nice touchdowns, he usually had just as many interceptions, if not more interceptions. But last year, before his injury, he was actually doing pretty well. His touchdown to interception ratio was really good. And, and this was without Michael Thomas. This was with a really weak wide receiver core. I mean, the Saints had probably one of the weakest wide receiver cores in the league last year. So despite having that, Jameis Winston did play really well. Now he just had this ACL injury, he's recovering from, and just like with Michael Thomas, like, I do worry, is Jameis Winston going to be the same player that he was last year? Overall, I have not been a big believer in Jameis Winston throughout his career. I have not been impressed with him for the most part, but it did look like he was turning a corner last year before the injury. So can he keep that up? And that's going to be critical for the Saints. I mean, if Jameis Winston struggles and does poorly, the Saints are in trouble, especially in those first few games that it's looking like they won't have Alvin Kamara. I mean, they're really going to need Winston to step up. So that being said, though, we're going to move over to the schedule, and I will say that I am a believer in the New Orleans Saints going into the season. I think there's a lot of people doubting the Saints. I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Saints. I mean, and you can especially tell with the Vegas odds makers if you're looking over here at the bottom right of the screen. They are actually, so in 2021, their Vegas odds prediction was 9.5 wins, and they ended up winning 9. So they ended up Vegas pretty much hit that right on the money. But this year, even with all the talent they brought in, Winston coming back from injury, Michael Thomas coming back from injury, the talent they brought in, they've actually lowered their projected wins to 8. I've seen some websites say 7.5, some say 8. So I just went ahead and went with 8. But to me, this is a easy over for my prediction here. I mean, to think that a team that won 9 games last year, that obviously got better in the offseason, and to think that they're going to go less than that, I think is pretty crazy. I mean, for starters, looking at their schedule, they're in the NFC South, and obviously Tampa Bay is most likely going to be really good again, unless Tom Brady falls off a map or something. Most likely Tampa Bay will be really good again. They could very well contend for the Super Bowl. But the other teams in their division, the Falcons and the Panthers, are clearly in, a bit of a rebuild mode, especially the Falcons. And, not to say that they'll win all 4 of those games, but I mean, between the 2 games against Atlanta and the 2 games against the Panthers, I think they should easily go 3-1 at least. Seattle, we still don't even know what's going on with their quarterback situation. I mean, I feel like that should be a win. They do have the NFC West, which is going to be tough here. But I mean, I don't know. Cleveland, there's uncertainty with Watson if he's going to play this year. I just don't see how the Saints don't win more than 8 games. Like, yeah, the NFC West is going to be hard. The Eagles have brought in a lot of talent. The Bengals were just in the Super Bowl. I mean, they're going to have some hard games on here, but just how Vegas has them at 8 games with all the moves that the Saints made is just crazy to me. The only reason I see that they won't hit this is if Winston is terrible. That's the only reason I see why. As long as Jameis is playing like he was before the injury last year, I see the Saints winning 10 or 11 games and getting in the playoffs. So, all right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap up my season preview here for the Saints. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I guess I'll just give a quick apology. I haven't been able to dish out quite as many of these as I wanted to lately. I've just kind of had some things going on, some personal stuff, but I am going to get all of my videos out. Don't worry. And we are about a third of the way through the list now. I'm not exactly sure when this is dropping, but we still got a lot more teams to do, and we are going to get to them all. So hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you've been enjoying our NFL previews and you're not subscribed to the channel yet, we'd be grateful if you do that and hit the like button and let me know down in the comments. What you think. Do you think I'm right about the Saints? Do you think I'm wrong? Some of our NFL videos have been getting some interactions. Some people agreeing, some disagreeing. And I want to hear either way. So let us know. So, all right, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks again for tuning in. With that being said, peace.